G'day there, everybody. What's that in my hands, I hear you ask? It is the Holy Rosary. Today I want to talk about the Holy Rosary, how I discovered it and how it can help you in your prayer life. So when I came back from Rome, World Youth Day in Rome, I was 17 years old and I wanted to grow in my relationship with Jesus Christ. And I had heard that praying to the Blessed Mother was a good way to go about that. You know, Mary wants us to love Jesus Christ, and she is, in a sense, the path to Christ, right? Just like God became man for us through Mary, we can turn to God and Jesus Christ through Mary, like going the other way, you know? And so saints had talked about this, holy people I knew had talked about this, and many of them were talking about the Holy Rosary. I thought, what's the Holy Rosary? And then I thought, oh, that's right. It's that necklace that old people hang on to at Mass for some reason. I really had no idea about it. I was never taught about it in my youth, you know. And my grandma, Margie Harris, who is a saint, you know, she's not with us anymore. She would pray the Rosary a lot as well. And so I remember going to the parish bookstore, buying the last Rosary, and then going to my mum, right, because Google didn't exist. I couldn't go onto Google and say, how do I pray the Rosary? So I went to Mum. I said, hey Mum, how do you pray this thing? You know, and she said, well, I think you pray 10 Hail Marys. And I stopped her, I went, please, 10 Hail Marys. Okay, I think I'll go ask somebody else. I thought there's no way you would pray 10 Hail Marys in a row. So I asked some priests, I got a little pamphlet here. Sure enough, she was right. In the beginning, I thought, well, wouldn't it be tedious to pray 10 Hail Marys in a row? And then I learnt that only boring people would find such a thing boring, so I stopped complaining. I love the Holy Rosary because it's like a Bible study on beads. On each decade, you meditate upon a mystery in the life of Christ or our Blessed Mother as you pray those Hail Marys. And I think of the Rosary kind of like an anchor, if you will. Also a spiritual weapon, but why do I call it an anchor? Because you think, you know, very often we are moved about by our emotions, aren't we? And too often we pray when we feel inclined to pray, but if we don't feel inclined, we don't pray. We're sort of tossed to and fro, as it were, on our emotions and digestion and how we're feeling that day. The nice thing about committing to either praying the Holy Rosary daily, or maybe just praying a decade daily, or even just praying the Holy Rosary, say once a week, just making a commitment to pray it, is it's like an anchor that you can throw down, you know, and say, well, despite how I'm feeling, this is going to ground me. You know, at least once a day, once a week, or whatever, I'm going to be meditating upon the mysteries of the life of Christ through the Holy Rosary. And now another thing I like to think of it as is a spiritual weapon. Now, why do I say that? Well, I say that because the saints said that, and if it was good enough for them, it's good enough for Matt Fradd, right? Like Padre Pio called it the weapon in capital letters. Pope Leo XIII wrote that the Rosary is the remedy for all our evils, the root of all our blessings. There is no more excellent way of praying. And again, as a Catholic, you're not obliged to pray the Holy Rosary, but I think if these spiritual masters and saints are saying, you know, yeah, you should pray the Rosary, then maybe it's something you should consider. So if you've never prayed the Rosary before, a couple of things I might want to suggest. One, go buy a Rosary online. Two, I just wrote a book with Ascension Presents on the Holy Rosary, and pretty happy with it. I think it'll help you understand the scriptural basis of the Rosary. In each mystery, I show how that mystery fulfills a type in the Old Testament. So it's very scripturally based, and I think you'll get a lot out of it. You can click a link right below here and it'll take you to that book. You can see how beautiful it is yourself. You might want to get that or give it to a friend. So that could be something. And then also, I guess I would just say, if this isn't something you're praying often, start small. Maybe pray one decade every day, or maybe make a more kind of strong, firm decision and decide to pray it daily. I think sometimes, you know, we can kind of think, well, I have to feel a certain way to pray the Rosary. This is an obstacle I think that we need to get over, because I got 4 little kids, you know, and sometimes praying the Rosary with kids, it doesn't feel holy. You know, you've got kids like setting the cat on fire, and another one's like climbing on the couch, and you're trying to kind of maneuver them all. And I think it's okay to let kids be kids while you pray the Holy Rosary. You know, you might pray it in the car, you might pray it by walking. But again, if so many saints and popes have said it's a good idea, it might be a good idea. So you might want to check it out. The Holy Rosary. God bless you. If you want to leave a comment below, feel free to write #AskMattFradd, and I can answer it in an upcoming episode. You could click subscribe down there if you like what we're doing, and feel free to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. God bless. Have a good day.